Welcome to the Grampa Al Show on TaterPatchRadio.com, Virginia's very own WPEX, 90.9 FM and 1230 AM.
Simulcasting on the Celtic Hub Radio and Tampa Bay FM on Spreaker, Facebook, Twitter and iTunes.
Alan Krushka, author of Grampa Al's Inspirational Treasures and Legacy of the Podmasters, both available on Amazon.com. Brings you stories, comments, and life lessons with music from around the world.
Tater Patch Radio, a subsidiary of Outside Radio Network in Virginia, is a licensed radio station that broadcasts on 90.9 FM and 1230 AM and online at www.taterpatchradio.com. This station does not own any of the music we play. We ask you to purchase the music you enjoy on the original artist's website or your local and online music vendor. Thank you.
Here is the host that could give your life a boost, the geezer of the airways, Grampa Al Show.
I'm saying what the hell because, hey, I've got something like Grampa Al Show, right? 11/06/2017. DJ Cherokee created this? Hell no. She did not. I'm creating this, and it should be on the Celtic Hub Radio Network. So, what the heck? You know, you gotta figure this out. We gotta make sure that it works. It's Grampa Al Show, episode 1. Okay, following more stats and everything else. What the heck is going on here? 33 plays, 67 followers, more stats. Yep, I guess I'm doing something weirdly. I don't know. I don't know if it's weirdly or not, but it cannot be found. It cannot be done. It's just something. It's on the run. Hey, it's saying go pro. I'm not going to go pro. I got something else unplanned. Thank you very much. Hey, this is the Grampa Al Show. I am on Spreaker. I am on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I am being hounded by mishaps and misfortunes and all this other bull crap. So, we're going to find out what is going on here. I mean, I'm supposed to be on the Celtic Hub Radio Network and Tampa Bay FM. Give me a moment so I can figure this one out, because this is starting to screw my brain up in little pieces. Yep, it's going to be one of those. So, DJ Turkey did not do this. I did. So, just make sure that you understand it. No way in hell did she. Okay? It's just one of those patriotic, crazy things that's saying, what is going on, right? So, we're going to figure this one out, and then I'm going to get back to you, because I know darn well people are going to be saying, what the hey? You know, but let's say this, I'm going to find that encoder and get rid of it. Really. Oh, I really am. Hey, this is the Grampa Al Show. We got a nice show for you today. We have something of a mishmash, okay, of gratitudes and everything else like that. I am going to be playing the Grimp story and interview. It is such a delight to hear this, because you know what we all need with these mass tragedies of these shooters and everything else. The elderly some of the elderly that has done these shootings. I don't know what's going on with them, but their mental capacity has blown the coop. I mean, they went full goose bozo. Tell you the truth. It's weird. It is. Okay, you are listening to the Grampa Al Show on Tater Patch Radio, on the Celtic Hub. Play it, Grandpa. You know I'm going to play it, Dave. Hey, Dave Capers just had a show today, and it was awesome. I was listening into it, and Hey, Al, welcome back. Missed you. I missed you too, Lisa. I give you a kissy there, but it actually hit Dave too, but I'm not that way. You dirty little boy. Okay, great. We have, like I said, we got the Grimm story coming up within the interview. So with Richard Sir Giovanni, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy that. And then right after that, we got some Billy J. Kramer with the Dakotas. Oh, yeah. Trains, planes, and, trains, boats, and planes. I like all these oldies because they remind me of a good time when I had my family, and I miss them. And you know what? I have a brand new family. Well, in fact, we all have families here. Lisa Lynn, David Capers, Tony Sanchez. Yeah, we are all family of the multimedia kind, and we look out for each other. And if anybody messes with anybody else, they have to answer to the grandfather. You got that, douche. All right. So let's play it one more time with the Grimm story in an interview right here on the Grampa Al Show. You better be sitting down and enjoying this.
Richard Sir Giovanni, and I'm the creator of the Grimm. The Grimm story started 500 years ago when there were minstrels living in a faraway land. There's Winston, Mac, Mooney, Magic Alex, and Emerson. Everyone loved their music, except for one, Spectre, the wicked wizard that was very, very jealous of their popularity and cast a spell on them, turned them into hairy Grimms, and cursed them for eternity into the forest of Dingle, where they never would be seen of again. Until one day, Magic Alex was able to come up with a spell that transformed them temporarily back to humans from sunset to sunrise and resurfaced as the great musicians they were, the new pop sensation, the Grimms. Inspiration for the Grimms came when I was looking for a new creative project to put together, so I decided to combine my two passions, which was rock and roll and cartooning. My music background goes back to the day I saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, and I was inspired and started playing drums. I played in bands in New York City for years and just had a great passion for music. After graduating college, I freelanced as a cartoonist. The cartoons I enjoyed as a youth: Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner, Stan Lee and Marvel Comics, especially Spider-Man, and Bill Keane from the Family Circus. When I was 8 years old, I was visiting an aunt out in Arizona, and I heard that Bill Keane had lived out there. So I looked him up. I took a bus on my own, found out where he lived, knocked on his door unannounced, and said I want to be a cartoonist. He was very gracious. He brought me into his studio. He showed me around. I thought it was so cool that some guy can make his living sitting in his room drawing cartoons, and at that point I was inspired. Each episode is going to have stories promoting positive messages, introducing original music, and from time to time going back and touching on the history of the Grimms. The first Grimm we have is Winston. He's the creative genius. He's very blunt and honest. Then we have Mac, the melodic, real musician of the Grimms. He usually pushes everyone around to make sure that the music is absolutely perfect. And Mooney is the wild and mischievous drummer of the Grimms. He's wacky. Then we have Emerson, quiet, very spiritual. And then we have Magic Alex, who is not one of the musicians, but he is their manager and their wizard. Some of the other secondary characters that are in the show: Domo, kind of like a cross between Rocky Balboa and Herman Munster, is the only person that really knows the Grimm's secret. Then we have Billy and Shears, friends of the Grimms from 500 years ago. They unfortunately were both caught in the moment the spell was cast and were drunk to miniature size and banished to a forest of Dingle with the Grimms. And we have Greenie. Greenie is the paparazzi. His quest is to follow them, get a picture of them changing so he can sell it to one of the supermarket magazines. And then we have the fan club, Sin, Maureen, and Patty. These three girls love the Grimps. Follow them around, keep the fan base going. Spectre is the evil wizard that cursed the Grimps and banished them for 500 years. He reoccurs in the storyline once the Grimps come back to society.
Having fortunately been involved in a lot of young startups,
the Grimps struck me as being something very special.
That is also going to be a point of education as well.
Subtly teaching the history of rock and roll.
The fact of being able to sit down with your family and watch something and hear some music that is not tearing anybody apart or hurting anybody along the way. It's telling the story.
As a father, I think it's really important to present good content to children today. I believe that the Grimps will be the next big thing in kids animation. Popular programming that you might compare the Grimps to might be as simple as The Lord of the Rings meets the Beatles. My wish list for voiceover talent for the Grimps: Ringo Starr, Jack Black, Steven Tyler, Adam Sandler, Debbie Harry, Ozzy Osbourne. We have very, very commercial characters, great storylines, positive messages, original music, and with many, many licensing opportunities and platforms. Movies, video games, apparel, toys, ebooks, websites, and MMOs. In 5 years, I see the Grimps being a huge entertainment property. I know that the Grimps is going to be the type of show that children, parents, and grandparents will enjoy together and be able to sit down and find it entertaining. A successful half-hour children's animated TV show, similar to what was done in the 1960s with the Monkees. We are going to present original music through this cartoon band, teaching positive messages to children and produce hit records.
That is what the story is all about. Now, meet the creator, the publisher, and everything that you can think of when it comes to this wonderful concept in the cartoon things. Yeah, he's probably laughing his ass off right now. But his name, Richard Sergiovanni. And did I say that right?
You said it perfect. Thank you, Will.
Okay. What came over you? It looks like you made the Beatles into little hairy Grimps.
The Beatles influenced me, but this is no doubt about it. I'm a tremendous Beatle fan, and I guess maybe the origin of the Grimps, you might say, can go back to 1964, because in 1964, as a wee little kid, I got turned on to the Beatles like the rest of the world did, from Ed Sullivan, and around that same exact time is when I had an interest, as many, many kids, in drawing in cartoons, and my path went along that track, parallel, turning into being a musician, being a professional cartoonist, and until a few years ago when I decided to develop a new project, and what I wanted to do was combine my two passions, which is rock and roll and cartoons, and make something for kids, but something that, the grandparents and the parents would like as well. And I wanted it to be a very, very subtle tribute to rock and roll. So my starting point on designs and names were retro Beatles, 1960s mop tops look. It was also to reintroduce kids to rock and roll and to the legacy of the Beatles, because a lot of kids don't know that. The Beatles, I mean, it is still 50 years later a brand that's still, I would say, 8 out of 10 people know, even the younger kids, but I wanted to keep that going. So I thought it was fresh enough It was kind of sort of like Mike Myers might have done when he did Austin Powers and created a new character, but he took it in that 1960s mode, and I always just, even though I was very, very small kid, didn't live through it the way others did, I just always liked that mod retro 1960s look. So I got started in that direction when I started to design the characters and develop the names, and then it kind of started to blend together.
Cool. And when did you first start thinking about this concept?
I would say I'm into it about 4 years now, where I literally had the first thought was I wanted to create something new. Because I've been a cartoonist. I've been a cartoonist my entire life, and have illustrated in books and in magazines and advertising, and worked in the advertising business for many years. And always freelanced, and I always had my little comic strips and other projects that I did in newspapers and magazines. But I wanted to develop something that would be for animation. So I would say about 4 years ago, I got that first inkling that I wanted to do something new. And then I realized I wanted to do something that combined rock and roll music and for kids, and started to develop the idea of the band. So the answer is 4 years ago, and then the development and the brain process and the thinking process started along with the drawings.
Yeah, I hear that. And
yeah,
what? Here's another little thing that I've learned through reading what you've been through and gone through in these interviews and everything else like that. Where did you start when it came to the music portion of your life?
Where did the music portion of my life start?
Yes.
Or my interest?
No, where did it start? I know your interest was way back when with the Beatles, but what instrument did you start out with?
Oh, my instrument. I'm sorry. I started out playing drums, and I was also a singer, and dabbled on the piano a little bit, but my main instrument was the drums, and I started playing, around 10 years old, and, little garage bands with neighborhood kids, and really got serious into, music and my passion for it. I was probably around more like 14 or 15, and I absorbed and listened to everything, and practiced to everything. And, the era I think I grew up with was probably one of the best eras in music. And luckily enough, being in New York City, I was able to see every major act that came into town, because it was obviously one of the main spots that a touring band came to at Madison Square Garden more often than not, and saw everyone from Pink Floyd to Led Zeppelin to the Stones, and throughout Chicago and Santana, and it was endless. And my taste was very eclectic, because the 70s was like that. I think the Beatles kind of were the pioneers of rock and roll, and they gave every opportunity for music to go into different little genres of rock and roll. From the Allman Brothers with country, and Santana with Latin, and Pink Floyd, with psychedelic music and all of that. So being in New York, I saw everyone that came into town, and I played in these bands, and I started to, cultivate this real love for music, and music history, and not only playing it, but being following it for the way the artist work their career, as artists, not necessarily just performers. And, I just went from there. Really interesting, one of the earlier days of me starting playing out there, because I'm from New York City, but a borough in New York City called Queens, and the little town that we lived in, we had the opportunity to play with Cyndi Lauper. When she was starting out, we played high school dances together. And Steve Stevens, who later on went to be the guitar player for Billy Idol. And it just was an interesting time. And then as I got into my 20s, we went into just another whole phase So, my taste grew from there. And that was, like I said, a parallel road as my art career was also going along in a similar path.
I see. And where did you start your art career?
Well, probably on my kitchen table when I was 10 years old with scrap paper, copying Charlie Brown out of the newspapers. But I did that like all other kids, and probably before I was 10. But I think it was literally around when I was 10 that I know I just had this, I picked up the pencil and really kind of went into another world and another fantasy zone and said, I really, really enjoyed this. And not only did I learn by copying in the comic, I was a big comic book reader also of Marvel. I also, one of my bucket list things that I got off my list a few years ago was having the opportunity to meet Stan Lee. And I copied Marvel, and I copied the things in the funny papers. And I started to then, at a younger age, start to develop my own characters. So it was a very, very interesting time.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And from there, it's how when I look back now, I can see where, the whole direction was happening for a reason. And so I was a cartoonist, and I was a musician, and then I got more serious as a musician as I got my 20s and got into some very, very good bands in New York City, playing the New York City original music circuit, like Max's Kansas City and CBGB's and clubs like that. We were at the same time on the circuit when Madonna was out there and Bon Jovi was out there, and this was and after the wave of bands coming out of that era, like the Ramones or Blondie, and at the same time, I went in Manhattan, the School of Visual Arts, which was a accredited art school in Manhattan, and studied cartooning with a guy by the name of Harvey Kurtzman. And Harvey, for the people who might not know that name, was one of the creators of Mad Magazine, and the guy was great. He taught us how made a good joke and techniques in drawing, even though you either know how to draw or you don't know how to draw. And it was a really wonderful experience. So I just kept doing it, and that road just kept going in that same line until about 4 years ago, like I said, they started to come together, which started to develop the Grimps.
What was that first defining moment that brought you to that point where you started developing the Grimps?
Well, I was completely bored. I didn't have anything, something creative to get me excited, and I wasn't in a band anymore, and I wasn't working on any kind of art project that was exciting. I was just doing what I'll call your everyday, mundane type of advertising, just to make a client happy, and I needed to do something. And for me, it was always, I need to have some passion with the work that I do. So that's when I got the idea that, okay, well, that'll be it. It'll be about, cartoons and rock and roll, and then I had to figure out how to do it. What I knew I didn't want to do, which has kind of led me into the fantasy part of the story of the Grimps, was I didn't want to make a cartoon just about a rock and roll band, because I thought that would be boring. That was kind of done before, and it really was, a little lame, and I didn't think it was not to the way I would have wanted to do it. And I thought that would have a short life to it. And I wanted it really to be something that not only that kids would enjoy, but they can possibly sit there with their parent or their grandparent and find a common denominator in the interest. Plus, being a parent, and my kids were growing up, children's television has changed a lot, and there's still a lot of good things out there. But ever since, go back to 25 years now, since The Simpsons broke, which is one of the most successful TV show, not just animated TV show, animation went more towards adult, and they started to push the needle, and they're really doing a lot of irreverent things for kids. I mean, things that I would laugh at, that you would laugh at.
True.
But a lot of subtle and irreverent things. And, I don't think that that's necessarily what should happen. So for that reason, too, I started to take a direction, and all these kind of things started to help me develop this idea as I then went into the next step of designing the characters and figuring out their personalities and their names and so on and so forth.
Oh, wow. Cool. Right now, I believe everything that you say about today's cartoons, they just push the envelope too much, and it seems like, especially with The Simpsons, they get into all this adult theme things like it's going on, and little kids learn from that. What directions are the kids going into these days?
Well, that's just it. I mean, you and I, when we grew up, there was maybe, there were three or four TV channels, and now there's, 300 or 400 of them, and kids have media hitting them from everywhere, and there's the internet now, and The Simpsons, as great as they are, and I really respect the show, that was for adults, but and probably the best writing in animation, second to Warner Brothers, I think, the Warner Brothers cartoons, but when you're putting something out there that easily in front of a 6-year-old, you got to be sensitive and careful to what you're putting out there. And there's a lot of things I think that shouldn't be happening out there. So, not that the Grimps are going to be far from some kind of, religious type of program, but it's going to be about having fun and be about positive messages and good things and cool, with the music and the other things that we're going to do. So that's one of my credos in this project and, my intentions.
Great. And now, what type of influence from your own experience as a entertainer in bands and whatnot is being influenced in these cartoons?
With the Grimps, the whole subtle background to the Grimps is somewhat of a, like I mentioned before, a tribute to rock and roll. We have a Beatlesque type of characters and mop tops and all of that, and all the names of our characters come from, and there's so many more than people see out there on Facebook or on the website. There's so many other characters that will come out, and you'll see that the names follow suit. But what I wanted to do with the names, and which I have done so far, is that all the names of the characters come usually from somebody in music, just as part of a subtle tribute to rock and roll. And I'll give you an example, is the four Grimps themselves: Winston, Mac, Emerson, and Mooney.
Welcome to the Grimps TV show. Join us for an exciting episode as we take you to the toppermost of the poppermost. You're daydreaming again, mate. We don't have a show yet, but we will soon.
You might be right. I have some exciting news. We're about to audition for the famous producer, Raymondo. He's looking for a band for his new TV show.
I once saw the great Raymondo the magician. He was so bad he made the audience disappear.
Sure, that would be fab. When's the audition?
How about right now? He gave me his cell phone number. When he answers, I'll put him on speaker, and then we'll play our song for him.
Hello, Raymondo's Chinese restaurant. You like egg roll with meal?
How about a drum roll?
Stay calm and carry on.
Hello, Raymondo. Raymondo Hat Company. What size is your brim?
Brim? We're brimming with rock and roll.
One size fits all. My roll is about to brim over. I want to play some music.
Me too. Me too. I think we all do.
Let's do it, lads. There's lots of other producers and programmers out there. You'll play for them all.
ready for the world to see us now?
Uh-oh! Not yet.
Oh no! Here we go again. What a drag.
This is definitely not groovy.
Not until we get rid of this grotty curse. I have to keep working on a new spell. We can't keep going through this every night.
Well, Winston was John Lennon's middle name, and Mac is a short of what they called Paul McCartney, and Emerson, from one of my favorite keyboard players from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Keith Emerson, who I actually had the honor of meeting and was contacted me and actually sat with me about his interest in the Grimps. Which blew my mind, because when I told him, when I remember seeing him, I was 19 years old, sitting in Madison Square Garden to a, sold-out crowd of 20-some-odd thousand people, and now here I am sitting with him, and he's talking about having interest in doing some arrangements or whatever on my project. Well, I thought that was pretty cool. Now back to the name thing, and then there's the drummer Mooney, which was taken from Keith Moon, the drummer of The Who, and somewhat of the personality quirks, mad lunatic drummer. And many of the other characters follow suit too, like that. The evil wizard who's cursed the Grimps is Spectre. And the names just go from there. And Magic Alex is, you have to be a real Beatle historian, and I won't get into it now to know who Magic Alex was, but if you're a big Beatle fan, or if you've read their books and their history, you'll know who Magic Alex is. So I borrowed names from people like that, and many of the other characters will follow suit like that. And for no particular reason, just for me, have the fun of it. I had thought of originally the idea when I remember when my oldest son was about 6 years old, and the rage in the kids' entertainment world at the time were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mm-hmm. I always thought it was so clever that here you had the whole world, these, 7, 10-year-old boys who loved the Turtles. They were a craze. I mean, I can't tell you how many turtle toys I had in my house. But they all knew the Turtles, their names for who they were, these Ninja Turtles. But the names were taken from the Renaissance painters, Donatello and Michelangelo and so on and so forth. And I thought that was so cool. And it was just a subtle thing. It didn't change the world, but I just thought, they took these names from art history, these people that lived hundreds of years ago. They put it on this animated cartoon turtle, and the whole world knew these names as Ninja Turtles. So I took that same kind of direction with the names for the Grimm show, and there'll be many more as the show develops and people see other characters. We'll see names, and if they recognize them or not, well, I did it for the fun of it. But a lot of the adults that are following the Grimps on Facebook or the website or Twitter, they're the ones that are telling a lot of their grandchildren about it. And they're coming to me and say, you know what, I think this is cool for many ways. And one of them is, I think part of it is that the grandparents today, which are anywhere from 45 to 70 years old, they're the classic rock generation. And they are, most of those people, like myself, are passionate about our past or the music that we listen to. It's a different generation than our parents' generation who listened to Sinatra and Tony Bennett and people like that. This generation is still passionate about the music. I mean, I tell you, and I know a lot of people who do the same thing. If I'm in my car and I hear, Deep Purple come on with a Highway Star, if people are familiar with the song, which is one of my favorite songs, I think I'm 19 again, and I start driving that car a little faster. That's rock and roll, and so I want to kind of bring that in to the Grimps, and I think so far I'm getting it's working where I'm getting the reaction from, like I said, the grandparents even more than the parents. And I think it's great that there's possibility that a show can be set down and a grandparent will sit with his kid and they'll both enjoy it equally, and maybe for different things, but that they can do it together.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen the preview on what the Grimps is all about, and even my grandkids, they say, "Wow."
Well, that's great. And how old are they?
My grandkids range from the age of 7 all the way to 15. I got seven grandkids.
Wow.
In that area.
Wow.
And I introduced them to that, and I wanted to get their opinion. The three opinions that I did get from them, because let's face it, they don't like questions.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, the one opinion is the drummer's kind of kooky, corny. He's got little corny comebacks with the drum go, you know.
Right.
But he's fun. Yeah, that makes it a good learning experience. That makes something that is a fun thing. It's a fun cartoon, and they would like to see more episodes.
Well, I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to getting this off the ground, and people will be able to see it, because I've been working on this such a long time, and I know people are going to enjoy it. So when I hear that, what you say and your grandchildren and comments like that means a lot, because that means I'm in the right direction, and it's going to happen very soon. And it's with the support that I've been getting and people like yourself give me the chance to talk about it and spread the word. Well, that's very important. So thank your grandchildren for me. And yeah, Mooney is the crazy kooky drummer, and you're going to see a lot more fun and crazy things from him.
What about you? What about you personally? What is your take on the very first episode that you're putting out there? What was your first feeling when you first seen it come into play?
Well, I've been living. You got to realize I've been living with this for years, such a long time. I'm excited when I've seen the development. When you sometimes you're doing it, you don't see what other people see, because you're already on to 5 other things in your head. But I'm excited when I see these things, like when I did the first animatic trailer, the one that you saw. That was my first step in bringing them to life and doing the voices, and it's exciting because it just confirms to me of how much fun and how much better it's going to be when I get into the full animation and into a production studio and start recording songs. See, the other part of this is not just the animated TV show, but creating and presenting the Grimps as a legitimate rock and roll band. I mean, being a musician, I still have that bug in me, and I went through it like everyone else when you were 23, trying to get the record contract. I don't even know if that exists anymore. But the Grimps is going to be presenting original music in every episode, and it's going to be, the songs are going to be tied into the theme of the show, if it's a positive message or some kind of message. And I'm just looking forward to that step of getting in the recording studio and seeing that process happen, and work with the musicians and the producer, and also in the animation and seeing that come to play. So I'm excited. I have to sometimes kick myself and step back and say, it might seem slow, but look how far you came with it. But this is something that's in me, and I tell anybody, no matter what it is, if you have some kind of dream and passion, just don't give up on it, because that's what makes life. Not doing mundane things, doing things that you like, and whatever it is. My thing is this, but someone else's thing could be golf, and do it, and that's what makes you feel alive every day, and this does for me, and that's why I'm really excited when I get to the next step, because as they say, you ain't seen nothing yet. When I get to that next point, we're going to be turning out some really cool stuff.
Awesome. And where can everybody find the Grimps, and what's the addresses?
Oh, well, right now, people can find the Grimps on Facebook. Just search the Grimps. It's under Musician Band, GRIMPS. Or the website, which is thegrimps.com. There's two videos, the two that I think that you cited, that are at the bottom of the page. You can see the animatic trailer. It's the first step in bringing them to life. It's not full animation, it's an animatic. And then my electronic press kit, which is me narrating kind of the overview of what the Grimps is going to be as a TV show. And there we show some of the characters and who they are, the main characters. And we also have links there to Facebook and Twitter. So I'd love to... Would love more people to, come and visit us and see what it is. Interesting enough, you asked me about that, which just reminded me, our fan base, which was really encouraging, without a show yet, is between the social media is over 14,000 now. And even though that might not be a lot, what's encouraging is that they're from all around the world. I mean, we have fans from Egypt and Iowa and New York City and London and Paris, and they're ranging from 7 to 70 years old. So that should
and it's more like 50 to 60, 70,000 now. So let's keep doing this, and we'll get right back to the Grampa Al Show.
I've secured the direction I wanted to go with this project, where it would be family entertainment and universal appeal, because there are, like I said, there's people in countries that don't speak English, so but cartoons and rock and roll, I think it's the fountain of youth, and they're being attracted to it, so that's really, really encouraging. So please visit us on Facebook or at thegrimps.com, and that would be great. Love to see you there.
You got me as a fan already. And
there you go.
And anytime that you have a promo or anything, send it this way. I will get it out to the people. They will get it out. I'll put it on my Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything, because I really enjoy this type of entertainment, especially when it deals without the vulgarity that other entertainment starts going through nowadays.
Yeah, I certainly will, and I appreciate that highly. You know what's also encouraging? I just found out about this a couple of days ago. There's a syndicated TV show out there on Fox TV called Teen Kids News.
Yep.
It's been on TV for 12 years. They contacted me, and they want to be doing a segment, a 3-minute segment on me and the Grimps. National TV, 200 stations around the country. They know it's not a TV show yet. Their slant and what interests them was that, besides liking it as, I guess, a piece of entertainment, they like the idea about the positive messages, and they believe that television or the media is in dire need for that for the kids. So they're going to give me a couple of 3 minutes to be able to tell that story, and that's encouraging because again here I am, I'm building this little thing brick by brick, and they track me down, and they think it's for a good cause. So these are all good things. They're all good things for everyone. So I'm encouraged.
Well, I'm definitely encouraged as well, because you help me see one thing, that no matter how old we get, there is also that spark of inspiration that keeps us going no matter what happens in our lives.
Absolutely. It keeps you young. I'm fortunate to say, and I don't know, some people make fun of me, but I still feel and think, as I did when I was much younger. When I sit down by myself and write or create, I turn into a 10-year-old again. But that's what keeps us going. If you're lucky enough to keep your body moving along, your mind is always going to stay as young as you want it to be. So there's no reason not to do things that make you inspired. And like I said, if it's golf or whatever it is, you have to go with it. It's not, doesn't have to be know how to play a guitar or draw a picture. It could be anything. It could be like your radio show you do or things like that. If it brings you pleasure and you're inspired by it, well, that's what life's about. So, this just happens to be my thing. And I'm glad you enjoyed that too.
I enjoy everything that comes my way, especially meeting awesome people such as yourself.
Thank you.
A very articulate, a very keen-minded and creative, which we all should be. Most kids today, they aren't that creative. They just say, F this, F that. That's not creative.
I know. And that's a shame. That's one of the things, unfortunately, a lot of the school systems, no matter what state you live in, they don't support the arts like they should. And that's a crime because, you have a lot of people that can do great things if you're involved in the arts and creative stuff, not just be, a great mathematician or win the spelling bee, and they don't encourage that enough with the kids. And that's one of the, silly little things that might come out of with the Grimps. Maybe some kid will want to learn how to pick up a guitar and learn how to play it, and he'll turn into the next, Bruce Springsteen, whoever. I don't know, but, it's sort of a vehicle for that as well. And the music business is like crazy too. Talk about the television business. I mean, and I don't want to sound like I'm sounding like my father, when he yelled at me when he heard me listening to Led Zeppelin. But the garbage that I'm hearing now in some of this music is unbelievable, and the lyrics. And
I still remember my dad yelling at me for listening to Alice Cooper.
Yeah, there you go.
I said, I'm getting an education, Dad. Will you mind leaving me alone? He says, you don't need that kind of education, let me tell you.
So, our plan is to do some good things with that and with the Grimps in many ways. And, I'm sure we'll get that opportunity, and there's just so much good stuff to come from it.
Oh, definitely. What is the one last thing you would like to tell the listeners out here before we end this interview?
That's a good question. The Grimps are coming. The Grimps will be hitting television and the airwaves, whatever that is, on radio or the internet, real soon, working diligently behind the scenes to put this project together once and for all. And I believe that we'll be successful in the very near future. Please come and visit us on Facebook and the website, where you can get updates and you can find out when I'm possibly doing other TV shows or radio shows to hear more on updates. But, every day in the Grimps we're posting something, new, hopefully, and some information. So come there and you'll be updated on what the next step is. And thank you, Al.
Anytime, Richard, and definitely anytime that you want, come on by. We'll get this out again. We'll have all new updates, all new things to talk about, and having your take on today's education, that will help everybody, including the younger generation, understand what's being missed. Because right now, the way it is, they're missing a lot.
Yeah, I hope so. So we'll do our best. We'll have some fun as we go for the ride.
Yeah, you betcha. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks, Al. This was great. And one last thing. I'm very honored that you started using Grandpa Al Lewis's photo.
Yeah, well, he's got more hair than I do.
And I got to meet that man in person one time, and you look better than him. So
sure. At least I got the chunky monkeys on my back. That's all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Al. Thanks very much. It's a pleasure, and I definitely would love to come back sometime soon.
Thank you. It's Richard Giovanni, everybody.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Wait a minute. I have to say this right. Richard Sir Giovanni, the creator of the Grimps. Beware, be informed, and watch the Grimps when they come out, because they will educate and enlighten you. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.
where the hits keep on happening, right here, 90.9 FM, 1230 AM, WPEX, the Tater Patch Radio, simulcasting with Tampa Bay FM and the Celtic Hub Radio Network. Enjoy the show. Or no cookie for you.
If you think you're going to be standing there trying to change the channel, don't you dare, or no cookie for you. And if that don't help, I will barbecue your cat, marry your dog, and fry your fish. Right here on the Peter Boy Radio Show. On the Celtic Hub Radio. Go for it, Squeaky. You know it, Wicked. This is the Grampa Al Show. We just heard the Grimps with the creator of the Grimps, the Richard Sergiovanni, and I've got in touch with him about a week ago, and he's got some updates coming for us, so don't worry about that. We're going to have more and more interviews coming up. Right now, I'm going to go on with a 5-pack of music. We're going to have the Spruce Dave Group. Oh, Davis Group. Yep, Spencer Davis Group. Keep on running. The Donovan with the Universal Soldier. How about Ian Whitcomb, You Turn Me On. Gary and the Pacemakers. Ferry Across the World. And Spencer Dave Group again with Give Me Some Lovin'. Oh, I guess I'm going to have a couple of hot stuff. But right now, we're going to go. What is this? Oh, yeah, came out and the Dakotas with trains and buses and planes. So just stay tuned. Peace out. And if you don't, no cookie for you.
Or wrong to someone else, but not for me. The trains and the boats and planes took you away, away from me. We were so in love and high above. We had a star to wish upon which, when dreams came true. But not for me. The trains and the boats and planes took you away, away from me. And planes took you away, but every time I see them I pray, and if my bird can cross the sea, the trains and the boats and planes will bring you back, back home to me.
maximum impact. Full immersion begins in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Grampa Al Show on TaterPatchRadio.com, Virginia's very own WPEX 90.9 FM and 1230 AM.
Simulcasting on the Celtic Hub Radio and Tampa Bay FM on Spreaker, Facebook, Twitter and iTunes.
Alan Prushka, author of Grampa Al's Inspirational Treasures and Legacy of the Podmasters, both available on Amazon.com, brings you stories, comments, and life lessons with music from around the world.
Tater Patch Radio, a subsidiary of Outside Radio Network in Virginia, is a licensed radio station that broadcasts on 90.9 FM and 1230 AM and online at www.taterpatchradio.com. This station does not own any of the music we play. We ask you to purchase the music you enjoy on the original artist's website or your local and online music vendor. Thank you.
Here is the host that could give your life a boost, the geezer of the airways, Grampa Al Show.
I'm a geezer? Whoa, how did that happen?
I love the 70s.
The decade of bell-bottoms, lava lamps, queer Indians and construction workers, and great music like this.
Tater Patch Radio.
Just good music. Where the hits keep on happening right here. 90.9 FM, 1230 AM, WPEX. The Tater Patch Radio. Simulcasting with Tampa Bay FM and the Celtic Hub Radio Network. Enjoy the show. Or no cookie for you.
He's 5'2" and he's 6'4". He fights with missiles and with spears. He's all of 31 and he's only 17. He's been a soldier for 1,000 years. He's a Catholic, a Hindu, an atheist, a Jain, a Buddhist and a Baptist and a Jew. And he knows he shouldn't kill, and he knows he always will. Kill you for me, my friend, and me for you. And he's fighting for Canada, he's fighting for France, he's fighting for the USA. And he's fighting for the Russians, and he's fighting for Japan. And he thinks we'll put an end to war this way. And he's fighting for democracy, he's fighting for the Reds. He says it's for the peace of all. He's the one who must decide who's to live and who's to die. And he never sees the writing on the wall. But without him, how would Hitler have condemned him at Laval? Without him, Caesar would have stood alone. He's the one who gives his body as a weapon of the war. And without him, all this killing can't go on. He's the universal soldier, and he really is to blame. His orders come from far away no more. They come from here and there, and you and me. And brothers, can't you see? This is not the way we put the end to war.
This one sounds like he's doing the Big O.
Life goes on day after day. Torn in every way. So ferry, cross the Mersey, 'cause this land's the place I love, and here I'll stay. People, they rush everywhere. With their own secret care. So ferry, cross the Mersey, and always take me there, the place I love. People around every corner, they seem to smile and say, we don't care what your name is, boy, we'll never turn you away. So I'll continue to say, here I always will stay. So ferry, cross the Mersey, 'cause this land's the place I love, and here I'll stay, and here I'll stay, here I'll stay.
Give me some loving.
Give me some is over, I'll pay you back with interest. I'll pay you back with interest. It seems unfair to leave you and sell myself the way I do. But when my wandering is over, I'll pay you back with interest. I'll pay you back with interest. Most of my life I've been moving. When I tire, I'll come home to you. But until then, I'll be waiting. I'll pay you back with interest. I'll pay you back with interest. How cold is my room without your love beside me? We look at the same old moon, but you're not here beside me. I'll pay you back with interest. I'll pay you back with interest. Too many people need me. I've got so much to do. But when my traveling is over, I'll pay you back with interest. I'll pay you back with interest.
You're listening to Tater Patch Radio on Virginia's very own WPEX 90.9 FM and 1230 AM and online at www.taterpatchradio.com. 90.9 FM, 1230 AM, WPEX, Virginia.
Oh, let's get with it with Pretty Flamingo right here.
All of the guys call her flamingo, 'cause her hair glows like the sun, and her eyes can light the skies. When she walks, she moves so fine, like a flamingo. Crimson dress that clings so tight, she's out of reach and out of sight. When she walks by, she brightens up the neighborhood. Oh, every guy would make her his if he just could, if she just would. Some sweet day I'll make her mine, pretty flamingo. Then every guy will envy me, 'cause paradise is where I'll be. Pretty flamingo. Pretty flamingo. When she walks by, she brightens up the neighborhood. Oh, every guy would make her his if he just could, if she just would. Some sweet day I'll make her mine, pretty flamingo. Then every guy will envy me, 'cause paradise is where I'll be. Sha-la-la, la-la-la-la, pretty flamingo. Someday I'll make her mine. Yes, I what will I make a man? All night stand, been around, seen 1,000 places. All night stand, seen a good 500,000 faces. Because I live this life and I've made it for myself. If you scandalize my name, then you scandalize yourself. Because I'm not to blame for the things that I've been doing. You all say that I'm bad and I'll only end in ruin. All night stand with a different girl each night. All night stand with 200 miles to ride. But I won't give it up long as I can make the bread. When I'm too high, so stop, close my eyes and go to bed. And forget all the schneiders, all people on my back. Once I'm free from these chains, I ain't never looking back. All night stand, been around, seen 1,000 places, yeah. All night stand, seen a good 500,000 faces, yeah. All night stand, can't get these people off my back. All night stand, 10% for this and that. All night stand, it's a different town and a different girl. All night stand, gonna keep my money for myself. All night stand, chicks are screaming and chicks are crying. All night stand, I'll get paid so I don't mind. All night stand, shout it till my head feels sore. All night stand, rest tonight then shout some more. All night stand, 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 all night
A beauty queen, she made it right to cause the scene in the town. Her long blonde hair hanging down around her knees. All the cats who did striptease, praying for a little breeze. Her long blonde hair falling down across her arms, hiding all the latest charms. Lady Godiva, she found fame and made her name. A Hollywood director came into town and said to her, how'd you like to be a star? You're a girl who could go far, especially dressed the way you are. She smiled at him, gave her pretty head a shake. That was Lady G's mistake. Hey, hey, Lady Godiva. He directs Certificate X, and people now are craning their necks to see her. 'Cause she's a star, one that everybody knows. Finished with the striptease shows, now she can't afford her clothes. Her long blonde hair lying on the barber's floor, doesn't need it long anymore. Lady Godiva. Just out of reach, time has how easy it can be, but you stand contentedly just out of reach. Time will show that I mean what I say. You'll see, you'll see, you'll see, you'll see. You wonder why you doubted my word when our love was meant to be. Come on home, you'll be glad. Back here, I won't be mad. Funny, you should be the one to make me feel sad. Just out of reach. You'll see, you'll see, you'll see. You wonder why you doubted my word when our love was meant to be. Come on home, you'll be glad. Back here, I won't be mad. Funny, you should be the one to make me feel sad. Just out of reach.
Don't touch that dial. You may miss some of the greatest music around, like
Your eyes nowadays.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist you?
'Cause you're so smooth.
I think I never heard it said. I think
Grampa Al Show.
Hey there, Georgie girl, swinging down the street so fancy-free. Nobody you meet could ever see the loneliness there inside you. Hey there, Georgie girl, why do all the boys just pass you by? Could it be you just don't try, or is it the clothes you wear? You're always window shopping but never stopping to buy. So shed those dowdy feathers and fly a little bit. Hey there, Georgie girl, there's another Georgie deep inside. Bring out all the love you hide, and oh, what a change there'd be. The world would see a new Georgie girl. Hey there, Georgie girl, dreaming of the someone you could be. Life is a reality, you can't always run away. Don't be so scared of changing and rearranging yourself. It's time for jumping down from the shelf a little bit. Hey there, Georgie girl, there's another Georgie deep inside. Bring out all the love you hide, and oh, what a change there'd be. The world would see a new Georgie girl. Hey there, Georgie Wake girl. Up, Georgie girl. Hey there, Georgie Come girl. On, Georgie girl. Hey there, Georgie Wake girl. Up, Georgie girl.
First you take a heart, then you break a heart. But before you do, you make it fall for you. Then you give it back. Oh, you shouldn't do that. You see me walk that floor, just a thinking of you. You see me walk that front, baby, right out of my shoes. Somebody help me, please. Tell me what to do. Just send an SOS. You're not in distress. Won't somebody please take her place? Will I find her there? Searching everywhere. Why'd you break my heart? First you take a heart, then you break a heart. But before you do, you make it fall for you. Then you give it back. Oh, you shouldn't do that. See me walk that floor, just a thinking of you. You see me walk that front, baby, right out of my shoes. Somebody help me, please. Tell me what to do. Send me an SOS. Your heart's in distress. Won't somebody please take her place? Will I find her there? Searching everywhere. Oh, you shouldn't do that. 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 Oh, you shouldn't do
You're done.
Hey, this is Brown Eyed Girl. You're listening to the Grandpa Al's Once Voice Network. Stay tuned or I'll haunt you in your dreams with whipped cream and strawberries.
With you. Baby, baby, is there no chance I can take you for the last thing all night long? Yeah, I've been waiting. Now there'll be no hesitating. So before this dance has reached the end, to you across the floor, my love I'll send. I just hope and pray that I'll find a way to say, can I dance with you?
Be quiet! I hate you! You're not my father! But I love listening to Tater Patch Radio.
Woman, do you love me? Woman, if you need me, then believe me, I need you to be my woman. Woman, do you love me? Woman, if you need me, then believe me, I need you to be my woman. And should you ask me how I'm doing, what shall I say? Things are okay, well I know that they're not, and I still may have lost. Woman, do you love me? Woman, if you need me, then believe me, I need you to be my woman. I hope you'll take your time and tell me when we're alone. Love will come home, I would give up my world if you'll say that my girl is my woman. Got plenty of time, just to get through it. Once again you'll be mine. I still think we can do it, and you know how much I love you. Woman, don't forsake me. Woman, if you take me then take you to be my woman.
Jr., otherwise known as the Godfather. Whenever I'm riding in my limousine in Southside, Virginia, I always tune in to Tater Patch Radio. It's just good music. Arrivederci.
You know you make me wanna shout. Look, my hands jumping. Look, my heart's bumping. Throw my head back. Come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Yeah, don't forget to shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Throw your head back, baby. Come on, come on. Throw your head back. Woo. Come on now. Say that you love me. Say that you need me. Say that you want me. Ain't gonna leave me. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. I still remember when you used to be 9 years old. Yeah, yeah. I was over you from the bottom of my soul. Yeah, yeah. Now that he's old enough to know you wanna need me, you wanna love me so. I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby. Better than I've been to myself. Yeah, yeah. And if you ever leave me, I don't want nobody else. Yeah, yeah. know you make me wanna shout. Woo, shout, woo, shout, woo, shout, woo, shout. All right, all right, all right. Take it easy, take it easy, take it easy. All right, all right, all right. Hey, well, I feel
Some other guy now has taken all love away from me. Oh, now some other guy now has taken away my sweet, sweet love. Oh, now some other guy now, oh, well, I just don't want to on my mind. Oh, and I'm a lonely one, lonely as I can be. Oh, now some other guy now has taken my love away from me. Oh, now some other guy now has taken away my sweet, sweet love. Oh, now some other guy now, oh, well, I just don't want to on my mind. Oh, and I'm a lonely one, lonely as I can be. Oh, now. Some other guy is making me very, very mad. Oh, now some other guy now has taken the black life off my pride. Oh, now some other guy now, oh, well, he took the best girl I ever had. Oh, and I'm a lonely one, lonely as I can be. Oh, now. Every evening, when all my days work is through, I call my baby and let's go watch her with you. I'm at some movies, but she don't seem to dig that. And then she asks me, why don't I come to her flat and have some supper and let the evening pass by? I'm taking records, besides a groovy high five. I say yeah, yeah, and that's what I say yeah, yeah. My baby loves me, she gets me feeling so fine. When she loves me, she makes me know that she's mine. And when she kisses, I feel the fire get hot. She never misses, she gives it all that she's got. And when she asks me if everything is okay, I got my answer. The only thing I can say yeah, yeah. That's what I say yeah, yeah. We'll play a melody and turn the lights down low so the knock can see. We gotta do that, we gotta do that. We gotta do that, we gotta do that. And there'll be no one else alive in all the world except you and me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Pretty baby, I never need you to thrill. It's hard to tell you because I'm trembling so. But pretty baby, I want you all for my own. I'm ready to leave those others alone. No need to ask me if everything is okay. I got my answer. The only thing I can say yeah, yeah. That's what I say yeah, yeah. That's what I say. We'll play a melody and turn the lights down low so the knock can see. We gotta do that, we gotta do that, yeah, yeah. We gotta do that, we gotta do that. And there'll be no one else alive in all the world except you and me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, pretty baby, I never knew such a thrill. It's hard to tell you because I'm trembling still. But pretty baby, I want you all for my own. I think I'm ready to leave those others alone. No need to ask me if everything is okay. I got my answer. The only thing I can say yeah, yeah. That's what I say yeah, yeah.
That's what I say. I say yeah, yeah. That's what I say. I say yeah, yeah.
DJ Bad Guy, what is this?
I don't know. Quit bothering me.
You should really listen.
Whatever.
Hey everyone, this is Grandpa Al Krusko from the Southern Cowboy Grandpa Al One Voice Network, inviting you to tune in for chat, rants, raves, and vents, along with thoughts and comments from special guests and some great music to help ease the pain until your next therapy session.
Book 'em, Dano! Book 'em!
That's 2 p.m. Central Time, Saturday Rants and Sunday Brunch with Ed and Al, right here on Spreaker, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.com.
Hi, this is Debbie Daly.
Oh, this is my promo. Go away!
We heavily suggest you listen to Grandpa Al and etc., etc., etc. One voice. Just do it. We'll open up your window.
For crying out loud, he's old!
Next time you're buying a hub around, you think Grandpa L. One voice, united. I was going to say under God, but I don't think that's it. One voice. Yuvon. Nope. Happy New Year? Wrong.
Southern Cowboy Grandpa L. One voice, damn it.
What do you think, Bob?
Yeah. Listen to this shit. It's good stuff.
Everything's alright. Everything's
To thank everybody for coming by on the Grampa Al Show, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. UK time. Also, Sunday, right here on the Tater Patch Radio, WPEX 90.9 FM, 12:30 a.m., right here in Virginia. We wish you peace, love, understanding, and prosperity your whole life through. Tune in again, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK, right here on Tater Patch Radio, simulcasting on Tab Bay FM and the Celtic Hub Radio Network. From my heart and soul to yours. Peace and later, Taters.
Game of love, love, la 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 love. It started long ago in the Garden of Eden when Adam said to Eve, "Baby, you're for me." So come on, baby, let's start today. Come on, baby, let's play the game of love, 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 la 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 love. Oh, come on, baby, 'cause time is right. Love your daddy with all your might. Put your arms around me, hold me tight. Play the game of love. The purpose of a man is to love a woman, and the purpose of a woman is to love a man. So come on, baby, let's start today. Come on, baby, let's play the game of love.